This letter comes from Nobody from Nowheresville. Dear Rando, what do you think of AI art? Oh, that's easy. I think it's cheating. No, really, it's cheating. So there's been a lot of over the recent AI art debate on whether or not it's considered art. Those who are pro-AI art believe it's a path forward in the industry and will allow for greater flexibility in the workflow of creating art. People who are against AI art believe it's circumventing the time and effort required to make meaningful works within the industry and will only further invalidate the work done by actual individuals who already aren't getting paid enough as is. You know, to summarize. Now, as a fellow self-proclaimed artist, I fall under the second category of people, obviously. However, the purpose of this video isn't necessarily to discredit the work put in by people who use AI generation. Instead, I want to give my honest opinion on why I feel this is an issue in the first place and why the mentality of this is just as good is somewhat harmful to the concept of art at large. But let's first talk about what I consider art. So before you can get what I mean by AI art is cheating, I first want to define what I consider both art and AI art. To start off, I consider art as a form of humane expression, something crafted that is unique and dynamic and was developed by people with the goal to evoke emotion. Art can take many forms: drawings, paintings, literature, stage plays, films, video games, anything developed by people, for people, with the goal to evoke emotion. That is what I consider art. Now, what is considered AI art? Well, to be put simply, it is art that is predominantly developed by artificial intelligence. The most basic example that I personally know is through image generation through a given prompt. Now, don't get me wrong, AI isn't necessarily evil. It can be used to increase productivity and efficiency in many operations that would otherwise be tedious or downright unnecessary without AI. I'd go as far to say that the development of AI could be considered an art form in of itself. But aside from that, we're not talking about the building of automation, we're talking about the usage of it. Should art really be considered a task that needs to be automated? If art is supposed to be a form of humane expression developed by people, for people, then how much work is actually being done for the sake of expression? How much is being done by the artist versus the AI alone? So if you've ever played a multiplayer game and you're just, say it's an FPS or something, you probably understand the concept of hacks and cheat engines. They are a way to purport the level of skill you have within a video game. And although there needs to be a level of technical know-how and an intellectual prowess in order to operate these programs, the original factors that determine skill are lost. The purpose of this example is that many artists take excessive time to hone their craft. They learn many concepts such as line weight, color theory, three-dimensional shapes, gestures, poses, anatomy, lighting, perspective. The list goes on and on. There is a certain level of dedication required in certain ideas and concepts that much of AI can just circumvent, simply by using a totally different denomination of skills that aren't even related to art as a medium of expression. And granted, being an artist isn't necessarily a competition, but there is a level of disrespect towards the manual labor and the process of learning traditional skills when using AI-generated images. And while that's not to say there wasn't a form of effort involved in the creation of AI art, the effort is misplaced, and it compromises the original and intentional process of creating art. But why should that original intentional process matter? Because going through the experience of that process is what determines the level of growth a person goes through. The fact that people are having an argument online about whether or not images generated by a robot is art or not shows that not everyone cares about the creative process and a path of growth. So why does the creative process and a path of growth matter? Oh, well, you see. So personally, I think I'm bad at drawing, but I don't care. Or, I try not to care. Just like anyone else, I have insecurities. And although the goal with this channel has always been to entertain people and make funny ha-has, I've always had a sub-goal of expressing myself as a person. And one of the ways that I've always wanted to do that was through creating. Be it through videos, art, writing, music, game development, anything that seemed even remotely interesting to me. I've always wanted to know how to create it myself so I can use it as a medium of my own expression. And on the topic of improving my self-expression overall, I would like to update by saying that I'm trying. But the reason I find my journey in art specifically so important is because if I really want to use it as an avenue to improve myself, I'll inevitably have to accept failure. One thing I'll give AI over another person is that although it's not perfect, it is much more calculated and much less failure prone. Remember when Jeopardy had that one set of episodes where Watson, a supercomputer made by IBM, competed against two of the best Jeopardy players in the whole show's lifespan? That computer wiped the floor with both contestants multiple times. I'm not sure if you're all aware, but we are constantly reaching a singularity with technology. I remember when teachers would say, genuinely, you won't always have a calculator in your pocket. This was a response that was given to many children who didn't understand that life would not always give them what they wanted, even if they needed it. But this became fundamentally wrong. By the 2010s alone, we had more than just a calculator. We had a calculator, an internet browser, a media player, a phone, a small gaming device, so many things, all in one little square. The technology behind not only AI art, but AI itself is astounding, and no doubt will have radical ramifications as to how we operate as people in the future. I am optimistic as to how this technology can help us reach new levels of enlightenment, especially in our confusing modern-day world, but I'm also fearful as to how it can destroy the purpose of being alive in the first place. If we can have everything we want, will we still want anything?